As the student athletes are making their way to the dais, a couple of reminders that all flash photography and video recording equipment of any kind is prohibited here in the interview room. We also ask that you please silence all of your cell phones. And when you ask a question of our student athletes and coaches during these sessions, to please identify yourself and the media outlet you are representing. This is the Gonzaga portion of today's press conferences. The number 5 seed Bulldogs will be taking on number 4 seed Kansas in the second game here in Salt Lake City tomorrow afternoon at 1:15 Mountain Time, 3:15 Eastern. And we're joined on the dais by junior guard Nolan Hickman, redshirt junior forward Graham Ike, and by junior forward Ben Gregg. And we will open up questions for our student athletes. Front right.
Davis Domestic, the Crimson. Question for all three of you guys. Yesterday in the game against McNeese, Coach Few was able to empty the bench, and you got to see guys who really see action play on the big stage. Does that add to the morale of the team at all? And what's the feeling amongst rotation players watching your teammates get a chance to shine in March?
Yeah, it definitely adds to the morale. That's something like I was thinking, like, let's see if we could get those guys in, Joe, June, all those guys. It's great to see June get that putback dunk at the end. Yeah, that really heightened the morale of the team.
Go ahead, Nolan.
Yeah, man, it's always dope seeing the guys who don't usually play get in there, especially around this time of the year. March Madness is such a good event, and it's always good seeing them guys in there for sure.
Well, I personally love it because I was in their shoes not too long ago, my first couple years, and I know how hard they work in practice every day to give us a good look on scouts and stuff like that. So to be able to give them an opportunity in March Madness is awesome.
Okay, back left corner.
Question for all of you. I'm David Lawrence with Kansas Radio. Just your thoughts on Kansas coming into this, facing, two blue bloods facing off, and your thoughts and their strengths that you see looking at them on tape.
Yeah, this is like something that you dream about as a kid, playing against a great opponent like this. They're a good team. We got a good plan for them. But it's going to be a great matchup. It's a great opportunity for us.
Yeah, great all-around opportunity, like Graham just said. Yeah, man, it's something I dreamed of, something I look forward to, growing up playing basketball. Watching March Madness, these games is what it's about. And, my squad's ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, the history of Kansas speaks for itself, with their great history. So, being able to play against an opponent like that with such a rich history, even what they're doing this year, you got another talented team. So to be able to step on the floor with them, it's an honor for us. We got a good game plan and ready to get after it.
And follow-up question, both of you, probably a lot of people thought you guys would be on the 1 or 2 line before the season started. Just talk about the season in general, some of the challenges that you had and how you ended up here.
Yeah. It's been a great journey, definitely up and down for sure for us, but everybody just had a different role coming into this, and it just took some time for us to gel, and we did that at the right time.
Yeah, we did that at the right time, like G said. He's pretty much saying everything that's in my mind. But yeah, man, he's we just got rolling at the best time around March, and yeah.
I mean, with all these new guys that came into our program this year, I mean, it's going to take some time for us to gel together. I mean, we're all super talented in our own ways, but we got to learn how to play with these different type of guys. And so it took a while. The preseason didn't really go our way and lost a couple of games that we shouldn't have. But we figured it out like these guys said at the right time, and I think we're going to keep it rolling in March.
Okay, middle, front right here.
Henry Greenstein, Lawrence Journal World. Graham, how do you approach the challenge of dealing with Hunter Dickinson, who's been playing hurt but still ended up with 19 and 20 yesterday?
Listen to our coaching staff, stick with the plan that they got for me, watch some film, and just ultimately just be prepared mentally and physically for the game.
Okay, up front right here, please.
Theo Lawson with the Spokesman Review. Graham, just to follow up on that, how does Hunter compare to some of the other good bigs you guys have seen with obviously Zach Edey, Donovan Clingan? What does he do differently than those two?
He's a great player. The biggest difference is he's left-handed from those other guys. He can stretch it out a little bit. He has a good touch around the rim, good passer, great feel. So, just stick to the game plan. Listen to our staff, and we'll be fine. We'll be ready.
Okay, we will check our Zoom participants to see if they have any questions for our student athletes. If you do, please use the raise hand button on your Zoom window, and we will come right to you. Okay, seeing none on Zoom, do we have any more questions here in the room for our student athletes? Okay, front right here.
Question for all three of y'all. Dusty Stromer had 10 points yesterday. When he's clicking, and what dimension does that add to y'all squad?
Yeah, it takes us to another level. It was big time for him to step up the way he did yesterday, especially with Ben in foul trouble. Super proud of him and his growth over the season.
Yeah, it's huge, man. It's very impactful. Yeah, seeing him getting there, it's dope too. He was one starting, and his minutes got a little bit subtracted, but yeah, man, it's always good seeing him in there, and gives us another level of clicking for sure when he's going.
Yeah, I mean, he provided a spark for us yesterday, and I know how important that was because, I was in that same position earlier in this season. I always try to do my best to bring that spark, and he did a great job of that yesterday, knocking down shots, getting big-time rebounds, and defending his butt off. So, yeah, it was big time yesterday for him.
Okay, do we have any more questions for our student athletes here? Okay, seeing none. Congratulations on the win yesterday, and best of luck tomorrow. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. 10 to 13. Thank you. Okay, we are planning on having Coach Few join us at 3:30, so in about 10 minutes. 10-4. Right there with you.
this up here?
Yeah, yes, Sonny, you're good, Coach.
Hey.
Okay, we are now joined on the dais by head coach Mark Few, and we'll open up with questions for the coach. Front right.
Hey, Coach. Davis Domestic, the Crimson. You're matching up against a Kansas team that has been struggling recently with injuries. Kevin McCullough is out for the tournament. Hunter Dickinson is playing through a shoulder issue. Furthermore, the team Kansas played yesterday in Samford pressed the whole time and really tuckers out opponents, while you guys comfortably beat McNeese and were able to give the starters some rest. Is that something you're considering when scouting this team, that advantage, or are you just more focused on the X's and O's in the matchups?
Yeah, no, not focusing on that at all. I mean, Hunter Dickinson looked great last night to me. Made great plays, shot a hook with his bad arm, made three-quarter court passes like Kevin Love. So I thought he looked great. And, Sanford's a tough team to play, and I know they had to get through that, but we're expecting a great battle from Kansas.
Back right, left corner, please.
Coach Brian Peterson with AZ Desert Swarm. With the connections that there are between your program and Arizona and playing in the same venue, though on the other side of the bracket, do you see any possibility of your fans rooting for Arizona in the first game and then their fans sticking around rooting for your team? And is there any benefit to that?
I mean, I can't speak for their fans. I can speak, our fans are huge Tommy Lloyd fans, and so I totally 100% see them supporting the Cats. And, from a personal standpoint, we'll be pulling hard and rooting hard for them. Heck, Mimi's been staying in our room here that's Tommy's youngest daughter the last 4 nights. So the wives have been running around, going out to dinner, and breakfast and all, last 4 days. So, yeah, it's kind of standard procedure.
Front right.
Coach, Eddie Peltz from AP, you'd obviously mentioned this. It took a little while to get gelling this year. Was there a game or a practice or a week where you kind of saw the light go on for you guys?
Wow. I think it was more a gradual process through kind of late January and February where it started to kind of happen. We just started playing much better together, more. And the guys have always had great chemistry and really liked each other. It's been a very enjoyable team along those lines. But I think it was just kind of figuring each other out, whether it was Graham and Ryan getting used to playing together more and more in the pick and roll, really understanding each other. Anton being able to again, figuring out he needs to assert himself more than he ever had to, when we had Drew and Julian and guys like that. And then also, obviously, in certain, putting Ben in that starting lineup, playing the 3 bigs together, it took us a while to kind of adjust to that. And once we did, we just kind of ran with it.
Okay, back right corner.
Yeah, Coach Chuck Culpepper from the Washington Post. Some of your players in Las Vegas after the final were talking about seeing value in being slighted, that it would help them. And athletes have a long history of, scouring the earth for slights to try to gain fuel. Where do you stand after all you've seen on how much value that does have? And did it have anything to do with what you said first off the bat last night about them being so dialed in?
I think, I'm with you on the, bulletin board crap and all that stuff. But I think what it did do, I think it did provide, a healthy dose of respect for McNeese right from the jump. When basically the pairing was announced, everybody started picking them. So I think, whether that was being slighted or just being like, okay, whoa, we better, it's on right now. And so I think as the week went on, as we showed them film, as they heard from me and the staff for, just how good we thought McNeese was and what they were capable of doing, I think there was definitely a healthy, it's always good to have a little bit of healthy fear and obviously respect for, what you're dealing with.
Third row right.
Cole Forsman, Sports Illustrated Fan Nation Network. Coach, you've talked a little bit about relationship with Bill Self. I think it was earlier this year after the St. Mary's game, but how far back does that relationship go, and what does that sort of mean to you? And it's only your second time playing him, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it goes back to December 27th, 1962. We're born on the same exact day. So, I mean, that's kind of odd, kind of crazy. But no, just no, we played Bill all the way back when I was first getting going, maybe my second or third year at Illinois. Incredibly good. We actually played him when he was at Tulsa, way back when in the Fairbanks tournament. That was where I first met him, got to know him, and just huge fan, tremendous amount of respect, just what he's been able to do, and just, you know, a pressure cooker of a job, but just, you know, what the run of Big 12 championships, the success, the streak they have in getting to the NCAA tournament. You know, I think it's them and us and Michigan State. And then I really like just watching his team play, and, you know, we'll put in little actions that I saw them run, you know, over the years and all that. So big time fan and just awesome guy and awesome coach.
Front left, second row.
Austin Getz, KHQ TV in Spokane. Coach, back in 1998, you guys went and played in Lawrence. At the time, you were an assistant, and Gonzaga was the program nobody had heard of, and Kansas was the blue blood. Almost 30 years later, now when people talk about college basketball powerhouses, both these schools come up. What does that mean to you that the work that you've done over the years and your staff have done over the years have kind of elevated you to that level?
I mean, it's great. It's great to obviously it's been a long, hard slog for us, but a fun one at that. And you know, we've been able to stay in growth mode, and you know, I think Kansas can probably explain it to anybody who's ever worked there or played there or coached there. You know, it's hard to stay really good for an extended period of time. It's really hard when everybody circles the game on the calendar and you're everybody's Super Bowl, and they deal with the same stuff we deal with. It's always a storm the court moment if you lose on the road, and you carry with you high expectations, which is great, but you know, if not handled wisely or correctly, they can be a burden.
Back left corner.
David Lawrence with Kansas Radio. Coach, can you talk about this year's Kansas team? Do you see it similarities, differences between past Bill Self teams? And do you see a similar edge that both you and Kansas are playing with this season?
I mean, I see a total Bill Self type team, in that they love to play high-low. They love to feed the post. They have great posts, and obviously, and KJ Adams is just he's much like Anton Watson for us. He just does everything. And so I totally see, I mean, he's kind of back to what I always envisioned, you know, Jayhawk basketball being like, and that's what, to me, shows and is such a great example of why he's such a great coach. I mean, years past they were running dribble drive and small guys, and he was playing small ball, and I mean the success didn't slow down at all. So, but to me, I mean, it looks to me like they're back, you know, very comfortable in running the high-low game and playing out of the post, just much like we've always done over the years at Gonzaga for the most part.
Okay, second row.
Coach, you've been coaching for a long time. You haven't missed the NCAA tournament as a head coach, except for the COVID year. You've been coaching actually since before I was born, which is crazy.
I don't think we need to go there.
Yeah, well, what do you see in this team this year that reminds you of Gonzaga teams past?
The heart that we play with. I think we're back to playing with a decent amount of swag, and you know, we figured out we've been, knock on wood, taking great care of the ball, sharing it really well, and seem to play really together. So I mean, that's my hope, that all our teams look like that, and this team has certainly been able to do that. I think they've done I mean, they'll always be special to me for just how they've hung in there. You know, we had just, you know, probably not rough road or rough patches for most programs, but what I was alluding to earlier with Kansas, I mean, you lose a game, it's, you know, the sky is falling. So we lost more than one. So, you know, they had to power through that. They walked into the burden of playing at Gonzaga. You know, some of them weren't used to that or didn't know what it was all about, but they had to figure it out on the fly.
Back right corner again.
I know you might like to be 33-0 and a 1 seed, but is there any? Have you personally, have you felt anything fun or refreshing about not hauling around that 1 the way you've done so many times before?
Yeah, no, totally. We've hauled it around. We had a nice run of hauling it around and dealing with it. And that 116 game is not fun in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, this has been a nice change, to be honest with. From my standpoint, you just kind of fly under the radar and just kind of do your thing, and it certainly probably fits my personality better. But you know, hey, it'd be also nice to have 5 pros on your team and you know, steamrolling everybody too. Those are some pretty good days also. So either way is good, as long as you're in here and still playing and you know, being able to do stuff like this.
Okay, back left corner, please.
Theo Lawson with the Spokesman Review. Kind of a 2-part question. Do you know which of you was born earlier that day on December 27th, 62?
Theo, I don't know how can you even think of stuff like that? I have no idea.
Just curious. The second part, you guys used that lineup yesterday with all 3 freshmen on the floor at the same time, with Dusty, Braden, and Luka in the first half. What's the confidence level you have in those 3 guys? And normally you kind of tend to shrink your rotations this time of year, and to be able to kind of expand it with those 3, what have they shown you?
Yeah, no, I think you know, ideally, I would probably wish we could have got to that more this year, but it's just we've been in a lot of tight games, a lot of tough games, and just, you know, trust those 2 starting guards is mostly the issue. But yeah, Luka came in and gave us some nice minutes. We were able to rest some guys, and I thought Dusty was great yesterday. Kind of back how he was a little bit earlier in the season, and was aggressive and making plays, and just was terrific. And hopefully we'll get that same Dusty tomorrow.
Okay, we will check our Zoom participants to see if anyone on the Zoom room would like to ask a question for Coach Few. If you do, please use the raise hand button and we'll come right to you. All right. Seeing none
Not getting a whole
in the
lot
Zoom.
of action on the Zoom here this week.
Hit or
in Salt
miss.
Lake.
Right. Do we have any other questions here for Coach here in the room? Back right corner.
What time were you born?
I have no idea, guys, and I'm regretting I even brought up that piece of trivia quite actually. So, yeah. Huh? Yeah, I don't even remember what I did last week. So, yeah. But hey, I think it was my wife that picked up on that sometime looking at a Pregame magazine or something. I don't know. So, hey. We try to text each other on our birthdays when either one of us remember it. That's about it.
All right, with that, we'll let Coach go. Coach, good luck tomorrow, and thank you.